country is founded on the American dream. The belief that everybody, despite their background, if you work hard enough and you make the right decisions, that you can be successful. We know that dream is not alive and well all across West Virginia or all across the nation. We know that human potential is spread much more evenly than opportunity. So today I want to talk about HSTA, the Health Sciences and Technology Academy, which is a program that we have created here in West Virginia to address just that, rekindling the American dream. It is an after-school program, and it is for kids from disadvantaged backgrounds that enriches their science and math skills, and it goes from 9th through the 12th grade, so that a kid that comes successfully through HSTA has a real chance of success in college and going back into their community to take that dream back and rekindle it in the next generation. Now let me tell you why I am so passionate about HSTA. Back when I was born into a family with 2 generations of my people going to college before me. I went to an elementary school where I was a smart A kid. That's me. I know, pretty skinny. I was the good kid, the teacher pleaser. I had the American dream firm in my hands. And then I hit a hole. In the 7th grade, what they did was they consolidated all the elementary schools around the county into one great big Jack Jewett Junior High School, where I went from being the smart kid whose mother was president of the PTA in elementary school to a number. And when I went to that school, somebody misread my aptitude scores, and they put me into Section D. Section D was not going to college, and they told us that. They told me, you're not smart enough to go to college. This is the first time I had ever heard those words. You don't have the potential to make it successfully through college. You need to think about a career as a seamstress or a gas station attendant. And while those are fine careers, that was not my dream. I was dashed. So inside of 6 weeks, just 6 weeks, I went from being that A student to getting my first D ever on a pop quiz. And I went from being that kid that was the teacher pleaser to being the kid that was standing in the corner on a timeout. I'll never forget that D. I went home from school that day and I said to my mother, Mommy, my teacher says I can't go to college. And my mom says, the hell with this. And she marches right in there and she says, something's wrong. And that's when they discovered that what was 9th grade, 5th month potential had been put in 5th grade, 9th month classes. So they whipped me out of Section D and put me into Section H, fast track to college. You would think that would do it, right? I would be out of that hole. No, because all of my friends were in Section D. I didn't know a soul in Section H. And not only that, Section H was rushing ahead college-bound on homework that Section D was never going to see. And I had 6 weeks of homework and no friends to help me. So it took me more than 6 weeks to dig out of this. It took me a full year. I got real Ds and I got Cs, and along the way, it was ugly. But I had this one test. It was a grammar test, and I knew I had aced it. I was confident. And when the teacher came around, she was handing out these papers individually saying, you got this, you got this. They did that back then. And she got to me and she said, Ann, you got 100. Did you cheat? I was devastated. But obviously, I got out of that hole because I'm standing here today. But I didn't get out of it by myself. My parents, my family, they dragged me out and they supported me the whole way. And the American dream was rekindled in me. But that's where my passion comes from. And I have joined with people across this state to create a HSTA program to go back and rekindle the American dream for kids in our Section Ds so that they too can be successful. Here's what it looks like in 1996. We started it in 1994, and this is the first class in 1996 out of Braxton and Webster County, on West Virginia University campus for the first time. These kids had never left home ever, and here they are. Crystal is a family doc. Laura is a chemist. Natalie's a veterinarian. Emmy's a surgeon. Jennifer and Jenny are teachers. Theron is an EMT in his own hometown. Every one of them works and lives in Appalachia. Over the course of this program, which we have honed as a large group of people, we have graduated 2,556 kids from HSTA. 99% have gone to college. These are kids from African American and other underrepresented families. These are kids from financially disadvantaged families. These are kids whose parents never went to college. 99% going to college. That's relative to the national figure of 70. That's relative to the West Virginia figure of 56%. We're kind of proud. But that's not it. Look at this. This is the graduation rate from college with a 4-year degree. 87% of HSTA kids graduate with a 4-year degree or higher. If you add the 2-year degrees, it goes to 90%. Compared to the national figure, which is less than 60, and the West Virginia average, which is less than 50, and the West Virginia low income, which these kids are mostly. These kids are rocking it, independent of skin color or race or religion. It's amazing. This is how it works. This large group of people called the HSTA family have joined together and created an environment. Add to that the teachers doing after-school programming. Add to that the colleges and universities across this state. And put with that the funders. The West Virginia legislature has funded HSTA for over 2 decades. The National Institutes of Health, National Institute of General Medical Sciences has this fabulous program, granting program, called the Science Education Partnership Award. That award has been ours for over 2 decades as well. SEPA promises us another 4 years. That's our HSTA infrastructure, and inside of that, the staff supports the kids. And the kids come into HSTA starting in the 9th grade the summer before, go on to a big college campus, and 100 at a time join forces, and they have fun doing science. They also meet people that are like them, that have the same goals. They also meet people that are different from them, that want them to succeed. And then when they come out of that experience, which is guaranteed success, they go into their communities, into after-school clubs. 1 teacher, 10 kids. Each kid does a research project on something that is relevant to them and is connected to their community. They do that every single year, and at the end of the year, they have to stand up in front of judges, peers, and teachers and talk about what they've done. And if they go to at least 2 summer camps, and if they attend at least 70% of their clubs, and they also do a science project every single year and present it in front of their judges, and 75 hours of community service, and they are not behavior problems, and a 3.0, that's all, I promise. Those are the qualifications for success. And listen to this. If they succeed, they get a tuition waiver to any West Virginia state-supported college or university all the way through undergraduate. That's what our state does for these kids. And it doesn't stop there. It takes them through medical school, dental school, pharmacy school, nursing. They can get a Ph.D. in biology, chemistry, math, physics at any of our state-supported colleges and universities. That's a big reward. HSTA is based on the philosophy of 7 R's. These 7 R's are really important, the first one being reward. This is Emmy Chapman. Emmy was born and raised on the top of Hodom Mountain, which is in the center of the state, Webster County. There is not a stoplight in the entire county. When she was in elementary school, her teacher told her she wasn't as smart as the other kids. She took that as a challenge. And when she went to high school, she connected with the HSTA program. To get to high school, she had to travel 1 hour one way. This is the same high school that her parents had ended their formal education. Emmy ended up connecting with a HSTA teacher, Kathy Morton. And Kathy Morton made sure that when Emmy entered HSTA, that she had fun. Recreation is the second piece of this. If it isn't fun, the kids are not going to stick. The other thing that Kathy made sure of is that Emmy built relationships. Relationships with people like herself, relationships with people that were different from her but wanted her to succeed. With those 3 R's, reward, recreation, and relationship, HSTA kids, you can't stop them. So that's why we put on top of it something hard, research. Research is chosen as our curriculum because research teaches college readiness. It teaches problem-based learning. It teaches synthesis and communication and arithmetic and linear thinking. And when the research is relevant, it teaches that these students have the ability to affect change in their community. It also gives them an infrastructure, the relevance does, on which to hang their learning so that they can remember it better. Add to that, we don't make it easy. HSTA is hard right up front. There's a lot of hand-holding for freshmen. Every bump they meet, they're met with lots of support. So at the end of the day, when they're seniors, they've got this. And they're reaching back for the freshmen to help them like they were helped. And we do it for years. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Because remember, just 6 weeks of repression took me down for over a year. Imagine, a lot of you don't have to imagine, what a lifetime of repression affects. But here is Emmy now. Dr. Emmy Chapman Jackson, MD, surgeon. She didn't have as much potential as the others? Psh. Not so. Here are the HSTA kids on West Virginia State University campus. What we didn't see coming, and what I am so proud of, is that these HSTA kids are giving back to their community right now. They are doing research on things like water quality, air quality. They are making differences in bullying. This is a HSTA mom, number 0283, who had a HSTA daughter who had a movement project trying to get West Virginians to move more. And it worked. She's running her first ever half marathon. These are some students right out of Boone County. These students know they have a prescription drug problem. So they decided to put together a drug drop-off day as part of their project. They put on the side of the road a box that you couldn't see into, that people could drive by and just drop their drugs that they didn't need into. And inside of 4 hours, they picked up 25 pounds of pills. That's one pill for babies, moms, grandmothers, grandfathers, everybody in that county. And that's just in 4 hours. We've got a problem in this state. These kids are trying to do something about it. And after they graduate from HSTA, here's where they go. 87% of them are working and living in West Virginia right now. The darkest dots are 143 kids. And if you look at the darkest counties in West Virginia, they are not shying away from living and working in those counties, the counties that need them the most. They earn, on average, $30,000 more than their highest earning parent. Imagine. And they're infusing that into the economy. Here's what they look like. That's Natalie Fraley. She's the veterinarian, owns her own animal clinic, Bridgeport. Andrew McDavid owns his own real estate business and has set up a program to help families in Kanawha County who don't have a lot of money get their first house. Here's Stephanie Tyree. She went out of state to get her JD, came back as a lawyer, and now she's executive director of the West Virginia Development Hub. Here's Summer Kuhn. She's a leader in HSTA now. She helps over 200 HSTA kids a year connect with scientists to do the research to help solve West Virginia's problems. Here's Chris Adkins. He is an assistant professor in the School of Dentistry. Edentialism is one of our biggest problems in this state. And here's Lindsay McIntosh, another lawyer. She is helping West Virginia Department of Health and Human Services work on improving social justice in the state. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. HSTA is working, and it's working deep, and it's ready for replication. It doesn't cost too much. That waiver I was telling you about, that when they graduate from high school, they have good grades. They qualify for financial aid. Most of the HSTA kids do not need any of the waiver because they come fully funded. It doesn't take too much time. 2 hours after school a week, 1 week a summer. It doesn't even take new infrastructure. All across our nation, we have what it takes. Leaders in underserved communities, teachers, colleges and universities, and funders like the National Institutes of Health SEPA Award. They are looking for places in the United States where we can fund programs like HSTA to encourage kids out of Section D to become biomedical engineers and other health practitioners. So let's do it. Let's take West Virginia model of HSTA and make it happen nationwide. It's worth it because, you know, I found that it's often the students that you're trying to inspire that end up inspiring you the most. Thank you.